Hello, everybody, NGS here, and welcome back to Takt of Destiny. We are back today with episode 4, and I'm excited because although the last episode did answer some questions, it created perhaps just as many. The answers we got is that music arts are indeed created through means of undisclosed training and preparation and exposure to those blue crystals, blue meteorite things that apparently turns a person into a music art. And that person stops existing. Now it's a music art that inhabits their body. Kinda morbid, kinda dark, but it is what it is, I guess. We also got an answer that Destiny is her name now, is unusual far as music arts go, because Cosette didn't go through any training and she wasn't exposed to that blue crystal or anything of the sort. She seems to have been possessed by a pre existing music art. I think that's the best explanation I can give based on what little we know. Apparently, she also sucks Tact's life force out with her attacks. She cannot use her power without essentially slowly, you know, draining Tact. And they were very sure that that's what's happening, even though there also seems to be no precedent for that. That's kind of oh, that's kind of another question that I have, although we did get a little bit of an answer with that. And of course, we got as many questions. As I mentioned, who was that mysterious woman with the tuning fork who presumably summoned the D2s? I assume she's the music art of that one dude from Symphonica, the sleazy looking blonde one, but for what purpose would she be summoning the D2s? That I do not know. Um, what else? There was also a mention of someone of some event somewhere in Boston, I think. I think it was something happened in Boston, and that was so mysterious. And apparently there are more D2s appearing all around. So yeah, the story goes on. We need questions that further episodes can answer, I guess. And so we set off towards the Symphonica in hopes of fixing Cosette, because there is a chance that part of Cosette, or perhaps even Cosette herself, is still present in the body, that Destiny didn't completely push her out. And that is also one thing that I think might become the end game of the series, as I mentioned in the past episode. That part of Cosette, part of Destiny, is embedded in Takt as his right arm, right? Part of Destiny is Takt's right arm. And I think this will be the ultimate choice, the ultimate episode in this series. Takt will have to choose. Does he keep his arm and that allows him to play on the piano? Or does he give up his arm for Cosette to return to how she was? I think he will choose the latter, and perhaps he will play with one hand and Cosette with her too, playing essentially one and a half of swords. I think that's the direction this series is going. But we will see more about that in this episode. So let's not stall any further. Episode 4 of Takt of Destiny. There it is. Yeah, everything seems perfectly fine. Again, it is version by subs, please. And it's starting in a moment. It's starting in 3, 2, 1, now. Right, they're headed towards Las Vegas. And they're fighting because Takt is corrupted. That weird corruption appears on him. Okay, we're essentially training with people um, who were a pair, a Musicart and the Conductor. That's the name before us. The usual training with a mentor. Showtime! What was that fanfare? And yes, we know that conductors direct the attacks of music arts. And I still love how Titan just uses a pump action. Yes, the conductor. Perfect answer. Of course it's not. That's true. That's like actually true. You can't immediately make a combatant out of a musician. Okay, so we reiterate that it is the conductors who actually lead the attacks. Maybe take care of the corruption first, though. Okay, a friend. It's kinda odd, like we're supposed to be in America, and yet she calls him Jonathan. And we're getting the OP. Based on the Dina something. I'll have to look up what is it based on. Or did I already do that? I think I might have already looked that up, honestly. But I just forgot. All I know is that I heard they're planning on turning it into a gacha. Doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It's a prime target for being a gacha. Just look at all those waifus. Waifu in casual clothes, waifu in battle mode, waifu in a Super Saiyan battle mode. You can make so much money out of that. Also, one thing I wanted to mention. I noticed that my videos started appearing in mashups. So, just so you know, if you're watching a mashup, you're just watching the reaction portion of my video. There's still like half an hour left after that, because we always have a discussion about the episode. We step through it step by step and discuss what happened. So if you'd like to see that, go visit my channel. That doesn't look like the Vegas I know. Okay, that's actually a good explanation. Although, isn't Vegas in the middle of a desert? How do they have crops this good in a desert? Ada. He's gonna be evil. He has two bodyguards and he doesn't open his eyes. And there's this slow panning shot. He's evil. Yeah, his speech pattern is totally a villain. That naruhodo naruhodo. Nettle tea, by the by. And I'll have to look up the voice actor for Mr. Lang, because I heard him somewhere as well. It is a lot of corn. Corn on the cob, cornbread, corn soup, or creamed corn, or something of the sort. Well, that sounded odd. Hmm, that makes me suspicious of Symphonica. Perhaps it's unbased, but it kinda sounds like protection, like the mob kind of protection. If Symphonica really does control the D2s, hmm, I'll have to take a note. Okay. we'll get back to that in the discussion. The light of music. Yeah, that's exactly. That brings us back to the question I asked in like episode 2. Are you really playing music if no one hears it? If there's no one to listen to it? Oh, that ominous shadow there. Hmm. Hmm. What? Secret door? D2s are attacking? No. They're playing music. What's going on? What's going on? Why the wads of cash? I think it's a good thing you didn't tell them. A concert? An elite club of sorts? The fuck's going on? Okay, she didn't even henshin. She's strong even in her regular form. The casinos are still operating, and the people at the farm, they don't know that. That's my suspicion. Open to a select few customers, open to the elite, essentially. I knew motherfucker's evil! I knew motherfucker is evil! Holy shit! They don't. 100% they don't. Yeah. The tuning fork in the basement that protects this place from D2s. Could that be it? Are you good or are you evil? Okay, so it was D2s underground. Why though? Was she detecting the D2s or was she detecting something else? And we're getting a battle sequence. One big blast? True. Get help from Titan. I love the echo on their movements. Okay, they are learning to cooperate, slowly but surely. And Destiny is just, not Destiny, Titan is just playing. She's just dancing with them. And you direct her. That's your job here. Okay. We're getting somewhere, it seems. Okay. We are doing quests. We're doing extras during a quest to get some additional XP. Kill 3 D2s with your sword. Shoot off leg of a D2 3 times, and you get 500 coins. Well, that was a short course. Just 2 lessons. Ooh, corruption. Uppercut, uppercut. Okay, we are working together. Finale. That was a beautiful sequence. Damn, the choreography in this anime is amazing. Yeah, yeah, he's doing well. And he's just bailing with the money. Because you're an evil motherfucker. Question is, was he doing that with Symphonica's blessing or behind Symphonica's back? Is Lenny acting on behalf of Symphonica or is he acting alone in his quest to protect those people? That would be beneficial. That is also a valid approach. Learn the basics from someone who knows what they're doing and figure the rest out yourself. It is often that the conclusions that we come to ourselves stick with us much better than what has been taught to us. Of course, there is. And they are on a crusade against bad people, essentially. I can get behind that. I had my doubts when it comes to Lenny. Is he good? Is he evil? He's a good guy. It seems, at least. Uh, Everything can change in this anime, really, honestly. First, I was sure Symphonica was evil, then I was sure Symphonica is bad. Now, I have my note here that makes me think Symphonica might be evil after all. But we'll get to that in the discussion portion. And again, another episode of Takt that just blasted through. I didn't feel the passage of time whatsoever, honestly. Right, one more note. Lang voice. That's one more thing I want to check out. Because I heard that voice somewhere, and I need to know. I'm curious like that. And I think I heard that melody that played just now somewhere else as well. But that's not something I'm gonna check out. Oh no, that'd be too much. Okay, let's get into this mode. Big picture. And let me check out Lang's voice actor first. Takt op Mal. Takt op is rated on Mal only 8.1, 8.6 out of 10. Why the relatively low score? Is there even a voice actor for Lang? No, there isn't. There is not. But I just caught a glimpse that the Musicart I suspected of being evil is named Hell. It's a bit of a spoiler. Kind of spoiled myself, I guess, but that's what she's named. So that I can cross out. Uh, let's get back to that one thought that I noted. I'm gonna take off my headphones for a moment and I'm even gonna switch to this scene. There was that moment when they were discussing that Symphonica helped those farmers and that the D2s stopped appearing. And then there's also the tuning fork that either summons or chases away the D2s, probably summons. And that's also the thing that we heard, that Destiny heard in the basement of the casino. That's also what summoned those roly poly D2s. And I noted down a thought. What if D2s weren't actually a direct result of that second meteor falling? What if people who created Symphonica took the opportunity and used D2s to essentially gain enormous power? As I mentioned during the episode, the kind of mob protection thing, right? They created D2s, released them, then swooped in and saved people from the monsters they themselves created, thus giving them notoriety, positive, good notoriety, thus giving them power, thus giving them the love of the common folk. Because Symphonica came, Symphonica destroyed D2s, now we can live peacefully. I wonder if that's not the case. I wonder if that's not the case. That it's Symphonica who's responsible for D2s. Perhaps the D2s would just bury themselves underground and stayed there. Wouldn't have bothered anybody. But Symphonica created those tuning forks that summon D2s to wreak havoc, so that Symphonica can defeat them and solve the problem and gain the love of the people and gain power. Essentially become a government. At least the country's government. I don't know if Symphonica is worldwide, but they certainly seem like the government of the US by now. A militarized military government of the US. I think I might be onto something. I think I might be onto something. I hope I am. I hope I am, but we will see that in future episodes. Right now, let's walk through this episode. We are starting with a fight, and we immediately see how good Lenny's and Titan's teamwork is. Wherever Lenny is pointing, Titan shoots. Point blank blast, just as Lenny ordered. That's interesting how they turn into this white rock, but I don't think it has any significance. When Maestro goes twinkle twinkle, I'll get orders like bzzzt. What other better explanation could there be? Maestro's twinkle twinkle, I get bzzzt, so I go blam blam. That's kind of like being too good at something. You have issues explaining that thing to other people because you just know it, right? You just know how to do the thing, so you can't really explain it. You just know it. This is how you do it. Why? But that's just how you do it. And I think she has a bad case of that. You follow orders exactly as the maestro tells you. And of course, he's not fine. And yes, he's a musician. It would be weirder if I could pull all of this after a week. Absolutely. I'm glad we're seeing some, maybe not quite realism, but a little bit of a dash of a realism here that you can't expect him to become a combatant after a week of training. He's a musician, not a fighter. You spent who knows how long training to become a Musicart, training to become a conductor. He has just been pulled into it. However, we've seen in previous episodes that Takt does do well in combat situations. So it's a little bit of a dissonance between what we know and between what he says. She's strong as a Musicart, but you need to feel the harmony. You need to work in sync. And we're meeting this guy who's friend of Lenny. OP, and we're getting to Las Vegas. That is a farm. After the D2s destroyed casinos and hotels, the locals started farming. As we know, that is a lie because the casinos still exist. And he is immediately evil. How do you look at this man and not immediately see that he's the villain? Two bodyguards, constantly closed eyes, hands in a very passive, very unassuming position, a constant mild smile on his face, and speaking about everything with glee. That's that's a villain and a half. And the voice bothers me. The voice bothers me. I heard this voice. I heard this voice in. I think I might have heard this voice in Yojo Senki? No, I don't think it was Yojo Senki. But I heard this voice somewhere. I'll go to check on like AniList or somewhere after we're done with this episode, with this discussion. Symphonica always takes such a good care of us. Yes, they are giving you a lot of money that you are embezzling. Farmers here are eating, what's that? Cornbread, creamed corn, corn on the cob, corn soup, and polenta. I'm guessing because polenta is also made of corn, and this looks more like a polenta than like a pizza, square pizza. It definitely is a polenta. Everything made of corn, and you just run a casino because you're the elite. And they were recommended to get here. The two stopped appearing because of the Symphonica. To get to expand our fields even more. Symphonica again exerting their power, their control over D2s to get people more to their side, to get people to love them even more. I firmly believe that is the case. Just getting started. And we have this conversation at night about what even is music. World started taking steps towards the future. Music is something that will bring happiness to everyone, connects us to tomorrow, the tragic history leading up to it. It's necessary, and that's necessary is the music itself. All that's necessary is the music itself and the world where it gets to continue. That can be said about anything, really, but I like the wording here. I like the wording here because he doesn't say, all that's necessary is the music. Notice how Takt says that all he needs is his music. All he needs is his piano. That's all he ever needs. But Lenny says, all that's necessary is the music itself and a world where it gets to continue. That's the important part. That's the important part that's missing from Takt's mindset, at least so far. He plays music for music itself. if the whole world disappeared around him and he would still be able to play music, he still had the piano, he would be content with that. Lenny wouldn't. And I think that's something Takt has to internalize eventually. That music alone doesn't matter if there is no world in which that music can resound. I think that will be the character growth for Takt eventually. No one's allowed to play or listen to it. Yeah, that's a zinger. And we're getting this shady deal. Uh, there was something about, can we play here? We were hoping you'd let us play for a bit. And a wad of cash. And more wads of cash. Scroll to that part, please. Okay, let's do it this way. More wads of cash. Suddenly shadow on his face. Naruhodo, naruhodo, and they can play. Destiny feels the vibrations. I think it was the tuning fork in the basement of the casino. Someone turned it on for some reason and to attract D2s. It's not instant. You need to let that tuning fork run for a moment and then D2s appear. I think that's how it works here. Why would somebody summon D2s to the casino though? Assuming it's Symphonica who controls the tuning forks, who controls the D2s to destroy evidence. I don't know. There are still too many questions and not enough answers to create any sort of coherent theory. And Cosette doesn't wait; she just runs. And it's a casino for the elite. You're getting cheers of the crowd. You're getting some nice music playing. And Cosette is strong, even even in her human form. Just launches dude in the air. Runs up to this one. Oh, that was so fast. I missed that. That was incredibly fast. Yeah. She appears within the frame. Second frame. Third frame. She grabs the gun, and there's a nice little bit of smear behind her. Wait, how many frames again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She has the gun. 6. She takes it away. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. A few frames later, she just crushes this gun and kicks the dude or punches him, and he's unconscious. And the casino is running. The casinos weren't destroyed, they weren't closed, they weren't shut down. They are running. They simply are inaccessible for the common folk. They're only available for the elite. Our facilities are open to a select few customers. This was all possible because he used the grant from the government. So, Lenny knows that Mr. Lang uses government money for the casino, but how long has this been going on for? Did they figure it out only recently? That is the question. I think I think Lenny works here as a loose cannon, not as someone affiliated with Symphonica. He is affiliated with Symphonica, him being a conductor and all, but him being here is not a mission from Symphonica. Because this has to have been going for a good while now, right? You don't build a casino in a month or in a year or how frequently you get the grants from the government. Uh, Second of all, Mr. Lang just brought him here. Just, you want to see my illegal casino? No problem, dude. I know you're from the government, you're from Symphonica, but that doesn't matter. Come on, go visit my illegal casino. That means perhaps other people from Symphonica were visiting it. So Symphonica is also engaged, somewhat supports this whole procedure. Is that even a word, procedure? Proceder in Polish. I don't know what the translation would be. Doesn't matter. The one from the Symphonica. To cultivate the farmland. Yes. Let me go a few rounds too. The one from the Symphonica who acted as an intermediary to the government is one of your regulars. Okay, so it's an intermediary between Symphonica and people who need the grants, the funds. That is sus here, because he's one of the regulars. Yes, of course. Another regular customer from the Symphonica. Intruders. She hears the vibrations underground in the basement or something. What seems to be the trouble? And for a moment, I thought Lenny is actually evil. He is engaged in that whole scheme. But now he denies any connection to Takt and his crew. And yes, you can go. Things might get a little rough. So he's a good guy after all. D2s, blasting from underground. Yep, running, running, running. And that's a fast henshin. Again, just a couple of frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 frames of animation. That's quick. And she's henshined. She summons the baton and throws it at Takt. I don't want to play too much of it because last episode get copy struck. So I'm gonna be skipping a little bit more than usual. And yeah, don't just create a nuke in the middle of the casino because everybody will die. And you need to learn how to control Destiny. Take the one on the right in just 2 shots. Not one. Not one. Limit yourself. Limit your power. Take it out in 2 shots. That shows constraint. And she does take out its leg. And then she uses the sword. And we have, this last sequence here. Turns her sword into a gun. The D2 roars. We're getting this shadow encroaching from outside, creating that beam of light, almost spotlight, like on a scene. We're getting the shot of the panning out shot of Destiny. She powers up the shot. It condenses, blasts into the D2, and then shrinks. Shrinks into a pinprick. And eventually, Takt raises his hand. It just does this, this flick of a wrist. Flick. Again, it's just like what? 3 frames? 1, 2. Just single frame, really. The second is just clear of any smear frames. Single frame of animation. And blast. And pretty much every frame of this blast, at least the initial part, is different. It really adds a lot of dynamic to the animation. And the D2 is defeated. She opens her eyes, looks at Takt. Takt looks at her. Job well done. This dude is running away with money, and Titan stops him. I thought for a moment that there's gonna be a moment like, a double whammy, where Titan says, hey, give us the money and you can go. Something along those lines. But no, you've been lying in your pockets, and he actually gets stopped. They get a lifetime supply of corn. They split up. And Lenny and Titan go to fight other evil people. That's the episode. That's all, folks. Oh man, what an episode. We're getting answers. We are getting answers. I'm gonna quickly look up Takt upon AniList. Not ManiList. AniList. Previous episodes and this episode, they answered a lot about how the magic system, power system works. But with each answer about that, we're getting questions about how the government works, right? The D2s are becoming slowly less mysterious. Well, maybe not D2s, but the Musicarts. The Musicarts and the Conductors are slowly becoming less and less mysterious. We know how they're created, we know the process more or less, we know what happens when they're created, we know how their powers work more or less, but we don't know the things that humans are engaged in purely. We don't know exactly how the government works. We don't know exactly how Symphonica came to power. We don't know exactly who controls the D2s, if anybody does. I think they do. We don't know whether this embezzlement of government funds is something that the government itself approves on for special people, special cases. Or is the government actually good? Or is the government actually evil? Is the main guy in the government, whose name is I'm not gonna look it up. Just kidding, I am. His name is Sagan. Sagan, yeah. Is Sagan actually good, but his second in command, Schindler. Man, what a name. Is Schindler actually evil? Right, we're getting that little bit of a tiered approach. The top tier in the government doesn't know that the ones before them, the ones who relay the orders, are actually evil. I think that might be the case. Or alternatively, the government might be corrupted through and through. That is entirely plausible. And I'm not seeing any voice actor for Mr. Lang, so I guess there is none listed anywhere. Yeah, I think the mystery here in this series won't be about the D2s themselves. It will be about people. It won't be about the alien race that hates music. It will be about how people recreated civilization after a world ending event, basically. How the government in this post apo scenario works. I think this series will be more about people than the aliens. And I'm all for it. I really am. I'm down for some mystery, for some drama related to that. Absolutely. I really want to know if Symphonica really controls the D2s. Because I really think this is the case. And I'm gonna take that sticky. I'm gonna put it somewhere on my monitor so that I don't forget my theory. And when it comes true, I'm gonna gloat about it. Then I figured it out by episode 4. I don't know if it's gonna come true though. It can go either way, honestly. This show is full of surprises and full of mysteries. That much is certain. And hopefully, some more of those mysteries will be answered in future episodes. And hopefully, low key, hopefully, we will also get some more mysteries. Because it's no fun only getting answers. There is no speculation when you have answers to everything. There's nothing to talk about, nothing to discuss, and I would hate for that to happen. Because if we had answers to everything, I would be able to just discuss the themes and the animation, and Bandai Namco would hit me with a banhammer of fucking copyright, whatever, for discussing animation here. Hopefully, this episode will be fine. I don't want to spend 12 hours rendering it again. That happened to episode 3, and I don't want a repeat. So, with that said, that's gonna be it from me for today. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. And also tell me what you thought of this episode down in the comments below. What you thought of my, my theories. What you thought of my reaction. What you thought of my commentary. What you thought in general. What are you thinking about? Tell me that in the comments. Subscribe. There's no gesture for subscribe, but subscribe so you get notified about future videos that I release. And if you really like what I'm doing, you can support me on Patreon. There's a link down in the description. The tiers start from just $1, where you get access to my Discord server. And yeah, as always, do all the good stuff, guys, and cheers.